haven't got a secret. I've just been lucky. Ever since I was a little girl, I always liked learning anything. I just liked to know things. That was my aim in life. And I'm happy where I am. I'll be 72 in August. But I'm not the kind of person to sit back and I'd have to get out and get going, and you just have to give and take. It's just the way things are. I do want to be remembered, and if I ever write a book, I call it Now I've Got the Roses. I don't know where they got me from. Dad was a miner, and his way of trying to relax before he came home was to go to the hotel, and so some nights he never came home at all. I am the eldest of 7 children, and we lived in a very small, very hot, very freezing cold miner's house, and it had 2 bedrooms and we had 9 people. We never had a car, we never went anywhere, we never had children around to play. I suppose there were too many of us, but we were a happy lot of kids. We were nice kids to each other, except for the day I tried to stab my brother with a fork. So he tried to stab me with a knife. I would have liked to have gone to university, but I was the eldest, so I had to get a job, and I worked at a chemist. So there was this girl just doing everything for everybody. When I first came to Tasmania when I was 13, I just made my mind up then that I would come back here, and I did. It's the one that my parents let me. I was here a little while and I got a job at the State Library of Tasmania, and then I got married the first time in 1957. And when you worked for the public service then, if you got married you had to leave. You couldn't, married women weren't allowed to be employed. But I never had time to go to work because 4.5 years later I had 4 children. We lived in lots of houses and lots of places. We started off in Moona, then Rosny, then Devonport, then West Hobart, then Campania. I said to you children once that when I died and where was I going, and God, he looked up my record and he said, "Oh, you spent 4.5 years in a hotel, you can just come straight in." Yes. We left there and went to Huonville, had a very nice house at Huonville, but we were only there a little while, and then my marriage broke up. And usually you hear about the children moving home to their mother, but this time the mother moved in with the 2 boys. And then I met Kevin. Kevin's daughter worked at the bank and my daughter-in-law worked at the bank, and over lunch one day they decided that it would be a good idea if Leanne's father would meet me, because everyone was quite worried about the pair of us, I think. And so he rang me and came over, and we haven't been apart since. He's just so good at everything. Doesn't matter what goes wrong, I just give it to him and he fixes it, and I really like that. We've driven round Australia, and then we went overseas to United Kingdom and Ireland and Europe, and Kevin talked me into golf, so golf's quite a part of my life too. But when I started to play golf, I absolutely hated it because I couldn't play. It was horrible. And I remember one day I picked the club up and I threw it and I said, I'm never going to play this game again. And Kevin said, well, if you're going to throw that club around like that, I don't want you to play. So I thought, oh, well, I better behave myself. So I just kept at it. And I'm just very thankful to all the people I played with over those years who put up with me. And that's what I try to do now for new people who come along and get very frustrated, and I know how they feel. But now I'm half reasonable, and I do love golf. I especially love the walk around the golf course, because especially at our golf course we've got all sorts of bird life, lovely trees, lovely fairways, a very nice clubhouse, lovely people, and recently I was made a life member, which is I'm very honoured and happy about, because now I have got my name up on the boards, and I've ended up on the committee. I've been the president, the treasurer, the secretary, and this is my first year in about 15 years that I haven't been on the committee, and I had to have an operation on my ankle to get out of it. When I had the operation on my ankle, I realised then just how much I missed golf. It was just awful. I was so lucky to work in the library, and I stayed with the library for another 20 years. And I absolutely loved every day of it, really, because I just love books so much. And I absolutely love roses. They are just the best thing, and I talk to all of them. I've always got to have roses. Some roses have come with me all the time because I just dug them all up and moved them. Yeah, I love gardening, I love gardens, and now I've got the roses. I've always got to have roses wherever I am. I just love them. I've always been one to learn things, and I will learn how to use the computer. It won't beat me because I'll learn. But I think today, living for all the young people and the young married people and the children, I think everything's all too fast. But I'm glad I'm not back 50 years ago, because I like progress. But every now and then you have to stop and smell the roses.